Megyn Kelly has weighed in on Meghan Markle's failed plan to bag a billionaire as her marriage to Prince Harry becomes more unhappy by the day.
She will find a way to bounce past him to some other taker who might actually just love the guy. She will take her royal kids, who can still go by prince and princess, and find the billionaire.
It didn't start with a scandalous headline or a leaked court document. It started with a single question, delivered casually, almost playfully, to Meghan Markle during a glossy promotional appearance. "Do you think you'll be married forever?" Her mouth smiled and answered yes. But her face? It blinked 5 times, nervous, uncertain, and that smile didn't quite reach her eyes. If you thought that was just a moment of stage fright, think again.
Meghan ruined Harry. Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
Within 24 hours, Meghan was photographed dining with a Dubai billionaire. No Harry, no explanation, no accident. Meghan Markle doesn't do coincidence, not in interviews, not in outfits, and definitely not when she's out to dinner with the ultra-wealthy. But that's not even the craziest part. This wasn't simply a dinner. It was the first move in what's starting to look like an exit strategy that's been hiding in plain sight.
Meghan Markle is always attempting to, shall we say, build relationships with very, very, very rich men.
You've probably seen the headlines: Meghan and Harry's Montecito fairy tale, the sprawling mansion, the podcast ventures, the Netflix deals. But beneath that Instagram perfect life lies a story far darker than carefully curated gardens and designer jam jars. To understand where this began, we need to rewind. Before the multi-million-dollar Netflix documentaries and Spotify failures, before the hand-holding royal tours, Meghan Markle was a cable TV actress with an ambitious blog, a suitcase full of dreams, and a passport aimed at power. And then she met Prince Harry. The story we were sold was that she fell in love without ever Googling him. But insiders whisper that Meghan wasn't simply looking for love, she was chasing the fantasy. The crown, the palaces, the tiaras, the global status. Only when that fantasy met reality, when Meghan realized that royal life was far closer to budget Airbnb than billionaire Yacht.
Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over, and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So for her, it's time to move on.
The cracks began to show. Not immediately, of course. Meghan is nothing if not strategic. She smiled through awkward ceremonies and curtsies. She played the part, flawless on the surface. But when the confetti settled and the financial reality of royal life emerged, the disillusionment hit fast and hard. Prince Harry wasn't heir to a kingdom of unlimited wealth. He was the spare, far from the financial empire Meghan had apparently imagined. According to royal insiders, that was Meghan's first real heartbreak. And that heartbreak wasn't just about money, it was about status, influence, and the hierarchy she hadn't fully understood until she married into it. You probably think this is where the story ends. A mismatched royal couple adjusting to post-palace life, raising kids in California sunshine, launching lifestyle brands. You're wrong, because what's unfolding now isn't a rough patch or a marriage in quiet crisis. It's the dismantling of a global brand, a brand that Meghan helped build and is now walking away from with precision. And Harry? He's not just absent from the dinner photos. He's absent from the narrative.
That Meghan Markle really did expect Harry to be a billionaire when she met him. She was incredibly disappointed to find out he's only worth a couple million, and she's gonna have to actually work and hawk these jams and jellies and dog biscuits to have the lifestyle that she wants.
A new poll reveals that the declining arc of Harry's popularity has accelerated into a high-speed plummet.
Coming up next, the trial separation that's not a divorce, the billionaires circling just off camera, and the very public unraveling of a relationship that was never as perfect as it seemed. The phrase trial separation usually implies privacy, quiet negotiations, a couple slipping away from the cameras to recalibrate. But when it comes to Meghan and Harry, even their silence has been curated for maximum visibility. No official statements, no Instagram captions with cryptic poetry about growth or resilience, just a carefully engineered absence. Meghan has been spotted everywhere. Harry hasn't. Solo at high-profile events, flashing smiles at billionaires' tables, all while Harry retreats further into Montecito's shadows. And here's where the tension ratchets up. Insiders close to the couple suggest this isn't just a marital rift. It's a strategic withdrawal by Meghan herself, one designed not only to distance her from Harry's collapsing brand, but to reintroduce her as a solo player on the global stage. And if that seems too cynical, consider the optics. Meghan's American Riviera Orchard brand launched with zero Sussex branding. No Harry, no children, no references to we, just soft focus images of jam jars, rustic tablescapes, and a woman reclaiming her narrative alone. Her podcast floundered, their Netflix projects are hanging by a thread, and Archewell, their once hyped foundation, has gone eerily quiet. But Meghan didn't simply walk away from those ventures, she pivoted.
She's already gotten the benefit of her bargain with Harry because she got the title. That's what she wanted. She wanted to be world famous. She wanted the title. You remember when Harry was single, he was the elephant. He was the one, the most eligible bachelor on earth. You could be a royal, you could become world famous overnight. You could live in a castle, you could have access to the crown jewels, you would be a princess. My God, yes, he could have had his pick.
As Harry's headlines turned sour, legal battles, security rows, erratic appearances, it was Meghan who vanished from the joint narrative first. No tweets of support, no couple photos, no whispered Instagram captions. Just an icy, strategic silence that spoke volumes. She was already writing her next chapter without him. And while Meghan's silence has been deafening, Harry's public appearances tell their own story, and it's heartbreaking. His charity work, once a source of genuine pride, now feels like a desperate attempt to cling to a version of himself that no longer fits. His smiles at Invictus Games events have stiffened into vacant stares. His posture, just a little more slumped. The man who once stepped away from the crown for love now looks like a man whose love is slipping through his fingers, and he's the last to realize it. You think that's bad? Keep listening, because Meghan's pivot is even more calculated than it appears. It's not just that she's ghosting Harry publicly, it's that she's replacing their shared brand with one that deliberately erases him altogether. Here's where things get truly explosive.
She flirts openly with other men. I remember when she was at that tennis match, looked like she was flirting with Serena Williams' husband, like with her skirt and just how she just looks at men. Harry, it doesn't matter.
Meghan's erasure of Harry isn't just symbolic, it's strategic. And it's been unfolding in plain sight. Remember when she used to be photographed clinging to his arm at every charity gala? Those days are over. Meghan's new photo ops show her sitting confidently, centered in the frame, with no hint of Harry, no subtle glances in his direction, and not even a passing reference in interviews. And then there's the dinner. Meghan, alone, seated across from a Dubai billionaire, known for his discreet investments and influential inner circle. There was no attempt to hide it, no frantic PR cleanup. Instead, Meghan's team did something far more chilling. They said nothing. No denials, no clarifications, just a knowing smirk behind designer sunglasses and carefully chosen silence. That silence, for anyone familiar with Meghan's meticulous image control, wasn't accidental, it was a signal.
But this woman is nothing but a publicity whore. It's a term of art. We broke the news that she had Prince Harry on her vision board when she was younger. That was her goal, #goal, to marry Prince Harry. So it was all about getting the title. She's done that now. Now she's just stuck with this depressed ginger who has absolutely no family, no friends, and no money. This was not part of the plan.
Insiders say this dinner wasn't just about networking or business deals. It was about optics, about Meghan being seen at a table where Harry would never have belonged. But that's not even the craziest part, because while Meghan was strategically photographed across the globe, Harry was quietly being scrubbed from the platforms that once elevated their joint brand. Look closely. Their Netflix banner no longer features their shared portrait. Archewell's website has minimized references to Harry entirely. Even Meghan's Instagram content has quietly pivoted. Gone are the shots of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex holding hands beneath sunlit trees. In their place, artful images of produce, jam jars, and carefully staged, authentic moments that look suspiciously like rebranding exercises. This is not just emotional distance, it's brand dismantling in real time. And behind the scenes, palace insiders whisper that Meghan's disillusionment began much earlier than most people think, right when she discovered that Harry wasn't billionaire wealthy. He was comfortable by royal standards, but not the prince of opulence she may have imagined.
Royal family, you should be so thankful this woman wanted to leave, because she's not going to bring any good to the branding of royal. She's going to downgrade it to a level of ghetto, and that's what it is. This is just bad.
Staff reportedly overheard her expressing shock at the small, drafty royal cottages, the IKEA furniture, and the lack of private jets on demand. This wasn't the Versailles lifestyle she expected. According to biographer Tom Quinn, this financial reality was a turning point for Meghan, one that reframed her entire marriage. And you won't hear this anywhere else, but that disappointment may have been the catalyst that drove her pivot from royal consort to independent brand builder. At this point, Meghan's transformation isn't subtle, it's surgical. Every move is calibrated for maximum impact and minimum emotional trace. The blink that started it all, the 5 nervous blinks and stiff smile, has become a meme, a body language breakdown dissected by experts who didn't even need to weigh in but did anyway. Their verdict? Discomfort, detachment, and a ticking exit strategy. And yet, while Meghan appears increasingly at peace dining with billionaires, Harry's life looks frozen. His appearances at charity events feel like ghost performances, callbacks to a brand that no longer exists, as though he's still rehearsing lines for a show that's been quietly canceled. What's even more brutal is how Meghan's pivot has quietly influenced Hollywood itself.
Because these billionaires can sense one thing. When you're not looking for a partner, you're looking for a solution. And that's obviously the lane that Meghan Markle's in now. She doesn't make really her own money. This whole Netflix thing is just a ruse. We all know this is made up just to give her something to do. Her miraculous renewal for her second season, which was already shot in full by the time the first season was done, meaning they just made some extra episodes and decided to roll out a fake second season as a PR plan, hasn't fooled anybody.
The producers, influencers, and power players who once embraced her with open arms are now ghosting her brand with equal precision. Industry insiders whisper that Meghan is no longer seen as aspirational, but as risky. A woman who is too strategic, too self-aware, too much of a walking headline. Her latest attempts at relatability, cutting pineapples on Instagram, soft-filtered garden shots, and curated authenticity are landing like auditions for a reality show that no one is greenlighting. And this is where it gets insane, because even the billionaires she's been seen with are reportedly backing away. These men, whose lives thrive on privacy and discretion, are said to view Meghan's attention as a liability, not a prize. And yet, Meghan's team keeps working the narrative, quietly briefing journalists, framing her as the poised professional rebuilding herself after emotional burnout.
Netflix will, allow their relationship with Prince Harry to expire, but they are holding on tightly to Meghan to work with Meghan in hopes that if there is a divorce, they would get the exclusive and pounce on that access to Meghan because they know that that's the next big thing that would sell.
Translation? She's writing her exit monologue while Harry is still clinging to outdated scripts. Even Meghan's silence feels weaponized now. A tight-lipped smirk behind oversized sunglasses, a conspicuous absence from any event or venture involving Harry. The coordinated couple shots are gone. The "we're a team" sound bites are history. Meghan isn't just creating distance, she's deleting him from the story entirely. The imagery speaks volumes. Harry fading into the background, Meghan's smile widening in solo ventures, and the unmistakable vibe of a woman preparing her next act without the man who helped elevate her in the first place. So what now? No official divorce filing, no press statement, no sit-down interview to announce an ending. But the signs are written everywhere, in all caps, in plain sight. Separate lives, separate ventures, separate agendas. Meghan's future is no longer tied to the Sussex brand. It's branded, curated, filtered, and strategically stripped of the very man who made her Duchess. And Harry? He's not just out of the spotlight, he's out of the narrative. The man who once walked away from a throne for love now looks like a plot twist that's already been edited out of Meghan's next chapter.
He's there, that she's still married. I mean, this woman's going to keep trying to get elevated with the next man because that's what she wants. Because, Harry at this point doesn't even have enough money for her. And so she needs to find the man that's going to really give her what she wants financially.
His public appearances seem like echoes, nostalgic reminders of a story that has already ended for everyone but him. Hollywood is no longer playing along either. The producers and moguls who once courted the Duchess of Sussex are sipping lattes at brunch tables where her name is met with polite indifference or even eye rolls. She's no longer viewed as aspirational, she's viewed as exhausting, too polished, too controlled, too willing to work every camera angle, even as her authenticity wears thinner by the day. The billionaires, too, have reportedly backed away, their interest evaporating as quickly as it appeared. Because here's the thing, the ultra-wealthy do not want to become anyone's next chapter. They demand exclusivity, privacy, and Meghan, whether she realizes it or not, has become the story herself. And not in the way she intended. But that's not even the craziest part, because this isn't just Meghan's story anymore. It's a case study in image management, in how a global brand can be built, leveraged, and quietly dismantled, all in front of millions of eyes. Meghan may never publicly say the words, "I'm done," but she doesn't need to. Her actions have already said it for her, across every silent headline, every solo outing, and every billion-dollar dinner reservation. And Harry? The fairy tale is over. The brand is broken. The story's been rewritten. He's no longer the prince. He's just the plot twist. And here's the question we're left with. What does this mean for Hollywood itself? A town built on reinvention, image management, and carefully cultivated narratives now finds itself ghosting the very woman it once celebrated. Meghan's story is no longer one of aspiration. It's a cautionary tale. In the end, even the sharpest PR strategy can't outrun authenticity. And as Meghan quietly pivots to her next act, one truth remains uncomfortably clear. You can curate the perfect brand, but if the audience stops believing in the story, it's over.